Hello everyone and welcome to Onca Wildlife Centre. In today's episode we are building for the ocelot, which is next to the coyote habitat. But before further ado, let's move on to today's story. So, our head zoo director, Ashlynn Finch, was offered to look after an ocelot for permanent care after it has been kept by a private owner since she was a kitten. Our ocelot at the facility is under therapy sessions to reduce the psychological trauma it has had with its previous owner. Luckily, it's back into Onca Wildlife Centre and we have a new habitat with an area which is inspired by cats and dogs, with the coyote habitat next to the ocelot habitat, and also not forgetting about the bush dogs nearby. Right, before I move on to our facts for today's video, I did first want to say that this episode did take me a long time to make, so to show me your support, if you could please leave a like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, that'd be greatly appreciated. This habitat is not very inspired, but if you knew my old series for Wildwood Zoo, you know that the caracal habitat I made was one of my favourites for that zoo, and in fact this one's inspired by that, with the same netting used and stuff like that. I just really like that whole area of that zoo, so I'm kind of inspired by that from my previous videos, and I'm kind of taking advantage of the netting there and making it into this sort of little pagoda type thing that guests can look through the windows and mesh between the coyotes and the ocelot, which is quite fun with the temple ruins. I think I did mention this last video, but I did the temple ruins off camera just because it took me a little while to figure out what to do in that area, and the time I kind of thought about it, I just rushed and did it off camera just to save us a little bit of time, and I think it looks really cool. If you see next episode, I will do some cinematics of the ocelot habitat, so you can have a look around and see that as well. Now it's time for some of the facts I have built up for the ocelot. So, first of all, ocelots have an extremely large appetite, eating about 7% of their body weight in meat every single day. And just to mention that as well, their main meals come off as like armadillos, you've also got some birds and even monkeys, and in fact they eat so many monkeys that it makes up a quarter of their total diet. While they aren't sort of threatened in the wild, in some areas they are, but they have a total population of 1.5 million across South America, Central America, and also some of North America, mainly around the Amazon basin, but there are 60 individuals living in Texas, so there are some in the United States as well. They themselves are also preyed upon, being actually one of the jaguar's main prey animals, so sadly they are under a lot of predation, but this hasn't really shown any impacts on them in the wild at all. It seems to be quite a natural thing that happens. However, what is unnatural is sadly the states the ocelots have been taking because of their striking sort of dapples and dots and stripes. They are sort of hunted for their pelt. In fact, some in the 1960s and 80s most pelts were sold for about £40,000, which is quite a lot of money. And for the Americans watching, that's about 55,000 US dollars as well. So you can see how much that is costing definitely rich people across the world. If they aren't being hunted for their skin, it's mostly just for be taking out of sort of the wild to be put into the pet trade. Many ocelots are taken as a kit, and then when they reach maturity, they tend to become much more solitary, aggressive, and sort of that cuddly stage they can come at tends to go away, a bit like some of the bears nowadays, and sadly they get thrown away to the side, or they get saved, which is a good thing. Like Onca Wildlife Centre here, we save some, but sadly they don't all get saved, and they can just be sold off for their pelt again, so it's this sort of vicious cycle that keeps happening as well. But when they are in the wild, they mostly live in the treetops, occasionally going down to the canopy floor when needed, but that's sort of when they get pounced on by jaguars mostly, is they pounce on top of their prey rather than the other way around, so they tend to stick higher up and stuff like that. They also live in the mangroves and by rivers. They are great swimmers as well in the fact they can cross rivers and stuff like that, so they do live in the mangroves and stuff like that, so they're not afraid of the water like some of the other cats in the world. They do share actually quite similar biology with the lions, another big cat species found in Africa and Asia, which is a bit of a surprise to some people. It's sort of their forefront limbs are very same sort of shape adaptations to that of the lion. I'm pretty sure they're still researching sort of the full reason why that is, but it's strange why the ocelots have taken that as well. They are also the largest of the hunting fishing cats in the Americas as well. Because I haven't had a long video in a long time actually, I can sort of talk about what I think the future is going to be of Planet Zoo, because I haven't done this in a while and I like doing it. So we had the Asia Animal Pack as the last DLC, and so far it's been quite tropical and grasslandy, and so I feel like we're not going to get a tropical pack next. If they keep updating Planet Zoo, that is, which I feel like the last pack could have been the last one. They haven't mentioned it in any sort of Frontier Unlocked or anything like that. There's another one coming. So I do feel like if they are going to make another one, it's going to be themed more towards the Arctic. The sad thing about them making sort of packs like this is that if a Planet Zoo 2 did come out, they're not going to use the same names, and we need to think about bird-wise what animals we want to not be included, if that makes sense. So if I'm thinking about like tree kangaroos, I don't want them to be added until Planet Zoo 2, because I know they can add like tropical birds like the birds of paradise and sort of add it as like this jungle rainforest pack or something like that. And then I know this sounds strange, but I'm really hoping for like smaller animals, so like rabbits, squirrels, maybe another species of porcupine as well, just to sort of throw things to the mix. I'd like the American porcupine, that'd be quite a cool one to have, and possums and stuff like that. I feel like that would be quite good to have them. And if they're going to add birds and aquatics, I mean specifically aquatics, we don't really want them adding anything Arctic themed, because I think if we want Arctic, we want a walrus, and I can't think of any sort of birds down there. But if there was a Planet Zoo Arctic pack, I think it would have like muskox, Arctic hares, walrus, and stuff like that. And I don't know if there's, I can't think of any birds, but maybe like a puffin as well. Just, I think it's more of a Highlands, but maybe if they weren't including that, that'd be quite fun, I think. And another strange one, I think in Planet Zoo currently we've got a good amount of Madagascar, but in Planet Zoo 2 I would like to see more of that. So hopefully we see some like radiated tortoises, the eye, or that'd be quite actually a feature where you have like the nighttime packs. So we have like nocturnal areas, so the inside's actually dark, almost like Planet Coaster 2 where they did that as well. And maybe like some Malagasy civets and chameleons and stuff like that, that'd be quite cool. And then for like the terrariums have like mice maybe, and like mole rats. I can't really think of much other species we could have really. But I'm sure they'll keep coming, they're quite good. I think they're quite fun as well. And actually if they're doing a nocturnal pack, it'd be fun to have a kakapo. I don't know if they're in zoos or not. But kakapos are pretty fun. They're like the little green nocturnal birds that come out. So that'd be funny if they had some of them just hopping about. But yeah, I don't think they're going to do a Planet Zoo. I think if there is a pack, there's only one left. But I feel like they're not going to do one just because for console edition, they've got the Asia Animal Pack and America's Animal Pack combining. And I feel like if they were to do another one, they would have to do another 2 batch of DLCs. And I think if they're doing one in the autumn and in the winter, they're not going to sort of have time to do Planet Zoo 2 as well. So I prefer them to work on birds and aquatics for the next game than do new DLCs. I think we've got a good amount of animals in the game and we could do lots of things. So I'm quite happy with the state right now. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but that's just my opinion. Now we are getting to the end of today's video, so I do hope you guys enjoyed. If you'd like to support this channel, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you want to be named after any animals so far in the zoo, if you leave a comment down below with a name and a possible South American animal you want to be named with. We have them all the South American species in the game, including exhibit animals. So if you do want to be named after one, just let me know. Specifically the ocelot in today's video, and also the coyotes, we do need some names. So do let me know if you want to be named after any of those. But I hope you all have a good day, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye bye!